Hello and welcome back to my workshop. Today I'm going to be working on a LARP shield. I've already done a couple of the steps just to make it a little bit faster, but I'm going to go through the process from start to finish, so follow along and see how I did it. Alright, so the first thing I did was I cut a sheet of this foam all the way to size. I've got two pieces of presentation plastic board. I'm not sure exactly what to call it. I've got it glued to the inside. I've sanded the foam, I've sanded the plastic, and what I'm gonna do is I've got 3D printed handles. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to mark out where I'm gonna put these on the shield on this side, obviously, because I wanna be able to hold it while I'm using it for LARP. And then the fun part is that I have to use these just little wooden spacers in here just to give it a little bit of strength so that the bolts can hold onto it. And then I'm putting another piece of foam right over it, cutting it to size, and then I'm gonna prime it with plastic dip and then make all the other little adjustments I need to make to it. So, follow along and watch me make it. Oh, I see you looking at my nice and shiny CNC'd Dread badge. So this is again for my character Dread Green. I CNC milled this on my Maker Z1. I'm going to be making a video review of that machine soon, so stick around if you want to see it. First thing I want to do is I want to figure out where to put the handle on here. I want it to be kind of so that I want to be able to hold it like this. Actually, I think that might be pretty good, but I need to be able to hold it sideways when I'm holding the shield. You can't see anything. But yeah, I think about there should be good for the handle. So in order to make this work, what I've got to do is I've got to mark my spots because I have to drill some holes in here. This pencil does not work. I need something else. Well, this liquid chalk. That works. All right, and then right about there for this. Actually, I should make it a little bit closer in. So about here. And here. Now, I'm not marking anything because I'm going on vibes because I don't know how well this is going to work until we do it. So now I'm going to get my drill and make some holes. Thankfully, I'm just doing it into foam and plastic. So this is real easy. So, just so you can see what this is I'm doing. So these two pieces of wood are going to go on the actual board, and I've got two sets of bolts that I'm hoping are long enough because I did not measure this before I did this. They are not long enough. These pieces of wood are too big. This is about half the thickness of the other pieces. So this should work, but I don't want to use a brand new sheet of it if I can avoid it. So I'm gonna look through my scrap pile here and see if I can find anything that would work. This might work. This is just an old piece of plywood, so this might work. All right, I've got 4 pieces. Now I just need to drill a little hole in it. These should be good. I actually need to use my drill press for this because these are small. I don't want to drill my hand. 4 quick drill holes later, and now we're going to go back and put them in and make sure that these actually do fit and aren't, I'm not crazy because this is about half the size, so they should fit, right? So that does work. Okay. I'm still not super happy. That's still a little bit thicker than I was hoping. So maybe I could just put these washers. So in theory, the washers should give enough purchase. I just want to have something inside of this to give it a little bit more grip so the bolt doesn't just rip through, because it is just foam, right? So in theory, that'll work. But the next thing that I need to worry about is, what if this handle breaks? I want to make this be able to be replaced. So how can I do that if it's permanently glued, or if it's permanently encased in another layer of foam? I was actually thinking about that, and what I think I'm going to do is, when I put this bolt in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shove a butt ton of hot glue into the hole of it so that it actually is just filled with glue and it's kind of stuck, so that I can easily tighten it and loosen it and replace that handle if I need to. So hopefully that'll work. If not, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll probably have to just cut a little access panel on the piece of foam on the other side, but here's hoping it'll work. We're going to test it just to make sure it does work beforehand. So now we just wait for the hot glue gun to heat up so we can do it. All right, so now these are super hot. Metal conducts heat really well, and hot glue is hot. So don't, burn yourself on this. If you're following along with this tutorial, don't. I'm not good at these things. This is me learning how to do this stuff as I do it. So whether or not this is the best way to do it, it's not. But this might be good enough to learn from and improve in the future. I made a previous shield where I used leather straps, kind of just contact cemented into the 2 layers of foam, and the straps worked really well, but the shield didn't have something to hold on to because it was just 2 leather straps. There was no structure. So I'm hoping that this will give me the structure to be able to hold the shield. Now you might be asking yourself, why am I making this? No, my camera! Oh, that was dangerous. Let's fix that. All right. You might be asking yourself, why am I making this instead of just buying it? And that's a good question. But the reason why is because I live in Canada. LARP stuff is expensive. All of the materials to make this entire thing cost about $45, $50. I bought the foam from Michael's for about 20 bucks a piece. So for the 2 rolls, I had a coupon, so that helped a lot. And then the hardware here cost about $7, I think, for all the nuts and bolts. And then I 3D printed the handle myself. So with, filament that I already owned and a 3D printer that I already have. So if you have these things, it's cheaper. If you don't have them, then, it might be better to buy a shield. But I had them. I had these things. It's cheaper for me to make it than it would be to buy it, right? $200 versus the printers I already own and $5 of hardware and some foam. I just realized that these aren't level, but that's too bad because I don't care. So now we put these on. Hopefully I put the bolts at the correct distance, and it looks like I did. You can't see anything again because I'm a professional. There we go. I put the bolts at the same distance, the correct distance. And now, in theory, because of the hot glue, I can just bolt these on. There's a bunch of hot glue on the actual bolt, so that makes it harder. I need to take off the hot glue somehow, but that fits, so that's okay. This fits in here. That's the correct size. And then I've got this other piece that is for the, and I've got this other piece that's for the other side. So I can put a strap on it, a leather strap that just goes through here, maybe have some padding, and my arm goes like this, and I hold here. So this should work. I might have put them a little too far apart, but this should work. I can just have the strap here with like elastic maybe, just something stretchy so that it just sticks on my arm. But this is the rigid part for the handle, so that should be good. Now I've got this part down, what's next? Next step is to take this piece of foam and shove it on here. Wait for the glue to get tacky, which in this temperature is really fast. And then we just kind of slap it over top of the other piece. The hard part is making sure you don't get it misaligned while you're putting it on. Got to get it as close as possible. Now, I did misalign it a little bit, but it's lined up properly at one end, so that's the important part. And yes, this is how I did this last time, when I did it the first time. Just put a bunch of pressure on it. Put a bunch of body weight. All right, let's go back. And now we are back here. What am I doing? Cutting. Try to fix stuff, but first I need to test it. So I need to make sure that my entire idea has worked with the bolts and the nuts. So that's the first thing we're gonna do, is we're just gonna very lightly screw these on and hopefully get the hot glue out in the process, because it smeared all over the thread. One thing I can do is heat this up and then screw it on. That'll work. I shouldn't need to make it too hot to just melt the glue. It should be okay. Let's try it. All right, I don't know if this is the best idea, but we're gonna try it and see how it works out. All right, so I think this worked. I think we're gonna find out. It's hot, but not anymore. Now, ideally, this will allow it to clamp without breaking the 3D print. My fix seems to have worked. The bolt itself is not turning while I tighten the nut, so it's probably working. All right, so now we do the test here. Ugh. You can't see shit. All right, let's back up. It's not done yet, but in theory, this will work really well as a shield. I'm gonna hold it sideways, even though it's a little hard, bottom heavy. But the most important thing is I can drop into a shield formation or just lift it up. I think that's gonna work. This little contraption here of the 3D printed handle with the washers, this seems to be working really well. So we're gonna be back tomorrow and hopefully be less hot and continue working on this. All right, I'm back. The glue is mostly set. There's a couple of spots that need to get, I think, a bit more glue in, but mostly sticking. I'll just have to fix it up later. I've got some more glue coming. But for now, so what I need, I've got this handle here that's gonna have my arm on it, and I need to have something that basically straps around my arm. But I wanna make it so that I can actually replace this part if I need to. So the solution I came up with is just a strap of nylon webbing, kind of just go through here. And then I've got this adhesive Velcro thing that I'm gonna cut and just put on here so that I can just strap it to my arm, just like this. And I think that's maybe the best way to go about this. Not 100% certain, but it seems like it's the best idea, the best way, so I'm just gonna do that. Hopefully I've made it long enough. I probably should have made it a little longer, but I've got tons of webbing, so that's fine. Let's go longer than I mean to this time. Let's cut it here. This looks like a better length. Like I said, fast and loose with measurements. This needs to be done, my entire costume needs to be done in a week. And I've been working on it for like 2 months now, so I need to get it done quick, but thankfully, the only things that I really have left are this shield and the vest that I've got behind. All I really need to do for the vest is sew the armor plates on, so that's gonna be pretty easy, I think, to do. So now that we've got a decently sized, okay. So this side, it needs to have one part of the Velcro. Again, fast and loose with measurements.
Too late. The thing on top is failing, and I don't have a lot of time. They're changing everything. Memories, veils, people. Don't trust anyone. It can change anything. I'll come back if I can. But until then, don't drop your guard. And don't trust and it works. Whatever you do.
Now in theory, this works and holds onto my arm. All right, let's take a look here. So now I can hold it just like this. Hold it out in front of me. Yeah, no, this should work. I think this will work really well. And I'm walking. Most of the weight's going on here. I was thinking of putting a little strap so I could bring it around my neck, on my shoulder to hold it there too, but I think this will work pretty well. I can make this a little tighter if I need to, a little looser. But yeah, no, that works really well. Perfect. So now the only thing that I have left to do is plasti dip the everything. Sorry about that, I wasn't recording. I started plasti dipping it. Hopefully this can last long enough. I don't know if you can hear me, I've got a mask on. Oh, okay, I don't have enough in my spray can for both sides. I do have enough for the one though. So we're going to let this dry. This is the important side. That's the side that faces everybody, so that's good. We're gonna let it dry and then come back in probably a day or so and put the finishing touches on it. So stay tuned for that. We're back in the workshop for another day. I just wanted to show you some quick projects that I made before we keep going back to the shield. I did some CNC work. I tried to get a little coin. This one was way too small, so then I made it a little bit bigger. It was a little bit better, but still a bit too small. So again, made it bigger one more time, and this one looks a lot better. You can actually read the text on it. And then just for fun, I wanted to make another little one just for the game. They're not perfect, it's fine. They're just, I think they look pretty cool. Anyway, now we're gonna go back to the shield. So, big changes I made since last time is obviously it is green. I wanted it to look kind of like a repurposed highway sign. So that's what this color is for. That should work pretty well. I also covered the back in some of the Plastidip, Flexidip, whichever one it was, and I reinforced it in a couple of places. So like right here, I added a bit more foam. Same with down here, I added some more foam. But all in all, it looks pretty well, or it works pretty well, and I think it looks pretty decent. So we're gonna do some more taping off because I want to put a highway number on it. So I'm gonna tape off the shape and then paint it, and then we'll go from there. All right, I forgot to hit record, but I made a little black spot for I can put the highway sign number. I taped it off. I'm gonna just quickly do this and then do some more graffiti onto the rest of it to make it look kind of old and used up and like it was repurposed from an actual highway sign. It's not perfect, but the game is in a week and I just need to get this done so that I have something to use at the game. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna tape off the edges so that the black stays and tape off a number in there and then spray paint it white. And then that should be all we need to do for that and then put some graffiti on it and stuff. So we'll be back when we do that. I don't know what the best way of doing that is. I don't have thin tape, so I can't put the number down properly, or I can't stencil it with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint it white and then just go with a spray can with black and then just do a small, or maybe a paintbrush, and I'll just paint the numbers on it. So we'll do that. And now we're just going to peel off the paint. It's not the cleanest, and there's some overspray because I didn't put any paper or anything on the other side. But I think it will work for my purposes, and I'll just let that dry. No, I'm going to just try to, I'll let it dry, and then I'll come back and paint the number on it. All right, so I think I figured it out. I cut out a stencil out of some sticker paper, and I'm just going to put it on the actual shield and then spray paint it. So that should work. All right, ideally that will come off cleanly and I won't have any issues. So let's try it out. Okay, please come off clean. Please come off clean. I didn't press down hard, so hopefully it's not taking off paint with it. All right, not bad, not bad. That's acceptable. I need some tweezers to get that last little part off of the 6. You know, that's not bad. That's not bad. I've done better, but I've also done worse. So I'm pretty okay with that. It's not perfect. From far away, it will look fine. I'm gonna add some more like dust and stuff to make it blend in a little bit better, because that's not great there, but I will fix that. All right, did a little bit of cleanup on the paint, so now it looks a little nicer. So now we're gonna let this dry, and then we're gonna put some graffiti all over the sign. All right, so I've got the number here, it's dry. Now the next thing to do is to just make a bunch of graffiti on here to make it look like a street sign or a highway sign that was just taken down and turned into something else. So that's what I'm gonna do. Here. Here is my finished shield. Is it perfect? No, but it's good enough, and I'm pretty happy with it. It looks pretty awesome. I think it captures that whole wasteland, post-apocalyptic aesthetic, and I'm super excited to use it this weekend. So if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, do all the fun things that we have to say in these videos, because otherwise YouTube does not reward us for saying it, right? YouTube actually actively punishes you for not saying these things, at least in my opinion they do. So enjoy, and I'll see you in the next time.